Did you find the picture? This was your buddy?
Well, you know, I played chess with him.
Right.
He was my best friend's best friend. He kept trying to get me to go over there and play chess with him, and I felt like this got something strange about this guy. I didn't want to spend a lot of time with him, but here I pick up this paper. This was a while ago. He was robbing banks. He had this motto of live free or die. And
he wasn't from New Hampshire, though.
No, he was not a Protestant work ethic sort of guy. He was, well, yeah, he looking for free money and lived an extravagant lifestyle, European girlfriends, hang gliding in Nepal, all this kind of stuff, you know. And he's a colorful character, but there was a real dark side to him that made me uncomfortable around him. And so I tend to stay away from dark people because they're
you never know what
inevitably
might happen.
going to be a problem. I mean, really, last time I played chess with him, I was sitting in his house, and I had this. I know this sounds like 20/20 hindsight, but I really felt like the cops were going to bust the door down. I mean, I had this feeling like I shouldn't be here. Like something bad's going to happen here, and I really shouldn't be here. So I just beat him and got out of there. Yeah.
The Hollywood Bandit.
Yeah, he got away with more money than anybody in U.S. history.
And they still haven't found the money.
He spent it.
Oh, he did spend it.
Yeah.
He has spent it.
Yeah, he used to ask me about betting on football games. He said, well, what do you think about these odds and those odds and stuff? And see, what he'd do, he'd take the money, he'd go to Las Vegas, and he'd bet in one casino on one team, and another casino he'd bet on another team. So it's a wash for him, right? It doesn't matter who wins or loses, so he's got laundered money. And he comes out of the casinos with his laundered money, and he flies around the world and does whatever he wants. Very interesting.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Smart guy. But what happened to him?
Well, he got, well, it's interesting. The last bank robbery he did, he knew that they were looking for him. I mean, he was #1 on their list. There was a department dedicated to finding him. He knew they had this place staked out, and he figured this is a real challenge. He wanted to steal $1 million out from under their noses and get away with it. So anyway, he went in there, and the alarm goes off, the silent alarm, and they just about caught him leaving the bank. So there's this car chase, and bullets, flying, and they're shooting in the car, and 2 of his buddies get wounded, and they can't go any further. He leaps out of the car, runs, disappears for 2 days. They don't know where he is, and he turns up in a motorhome, somebody's backyard. He's in this holed up in this motorhome, and the people who live there knew that there was a robber around, and this was on Thanksgiving Day, and so they came over to their grandmother's house, and they said, well, better check the thing for you, Grandma. And sure enough, there's somebody in there. So they call the cops, and the cops can surround the place and start yelling and stuff, and a single gunshot rings out. And so the cops start firing into there and stuff. Well, he had just shot himself. Live free or die. He must, he sat there in that motorhome for something like 48 hours. Imagine what,
But you didn't know. You had no idea.
Didn't know he was a bank robber. No.
Didn't know he was a bank robber.
It was a shock.
Even though you played chess with this guy,
right.
you hung out with him, and
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You never know about people, do you?
You never do.
Sorry, Tara. I've been doing stained glass here for 30 years and done thousands of commissions all over the country, and we do all kinds of glass work, from very modern contemporary to very old styles, medieval, painted kinds of things. And now we're also involved in doing restoration work in Europe, where we have a non-profit society we just formed with a Venetian, Italian glassworker who's been living with me for the last year and working here with me. Unfortunately, he's not here. He's out fishing right now.
I've heard about him.
Because he loves, neat thing about us going to Europe is that we can see the history in the past that we don't have, but they come here and they see this pristine environment that they don't have. And it's, so he always sneaks
fishing.
out. Yeah, right, he sneaks out. We're working on a project, and I leave for a while and just gone. But together we formed a non-profit corporation to collect funds here in the United States to repair works in Europe, because they don't have the funds to. They have funds and they are repairing, but they have so many antiquities that a lot of them are just falling through the cracks. And it's, as a glass worker, it's a shame to see these Renaissance masterpieces turn to dust. I mean, it's just a shame. I can show you over here. The glass here is going to be pretty permanent. A few thousand years from now there might be some pock marks or something in there, but the metal work that holds it together, the lead, has a limited lifespan because it oxidizes.
Okay.
And a window up in the weather lasts about 80 years, so you have to re-lead these windows about every 80 years. And they're doing a lot, but they're not doing enough. And fortunately, we have the Basilica at Assisi. I know this sounds strange, but an earthquake hit it a couple of years ago.
Oh, I remember.
And it's something everybody knows about, or a lot of people know about. It's sexy. It's known. So we hooked up with these people that are doing the restoration at Assisi, and since we have a non-profit, we can offer people tax breaks. All the money going to the Basilica of Assisi is going to be going through our non-profit foundation and conveyed to Assisi to restore it and do the work there. I mean, in a sense, it's unfair the Italians are saddled to keep up all these antiquities, even though they charge the tourists to come see them and stuff, and in a sense they own them. It really belongs to all of us.
How do you restore glass? Is there a technique that you did?
Well, it's yeah, it's elaborate. If I can try to simplify it, there's all kinds of techniques for all kinds of different things. I mean, there's broken glass, there's paint. This is black that's on here is the paint that's fired in the kill, and it's when you see a face in a window, it's this black paint that's fired on. This paint can come off over time, and you have to reapply it and refire it. You know, you get breaks and things. And
Do you have to recreate it sometimes as well when you restore?
The idea of restoration is to conserve as much of the original material as possible.
Would you pull something out? Can you cut it out and then slip it back in?
This is all buckled, and you know, because the lead's given it, and you know, take a board and you take it out of the opening on this board, and then we'll take it down and we'll take all the glass out of the lead, you know, toss the lead. Although some Italian standards say that you have to use the original lead, even though it's structurally inadequate. You know, again, you want to conserve as much of the original. Otherwise, it's not the same. It's not the original old thing anymore. It's something new. So then you deal with the glass, fix the glass, and then you reassemble it with the lead, and then we putty it. And
in Europe, they have those
circular windows. And I mean, that's about as big as a window was until they started letting them together with strips and making windows bigger.
Okay. What you don't make the glass though, do you?
No,
you have
we
that.
don't. But the Pacific Northwest is the center of the world for glass making of all kinds right now. And that's why the Venetians are coming here to learn. It used to be Murano and Venice was the world center of glass. Yeah, we have all the artists, the factories, the studios. It's all right here in the Northwest. And you may have heard of Dale Chihuly, who's kind of the one of the large artists who does work all over the world and makes a big spectacle of himself and draws attention to the rest of us, unfortunately. Because I don't like making a spectacle of myself like he does. And it's just very tranquil and nice to look at and peaceful. And really what I try to achieve in glass is something that is tranquil, that you can rest your eyes, it's relaxing, it feels good. And you know, a lot of artists in glass and in other things are, you know, they want to make you angry or you know, political or horny or, you know, I mean, those are all kind of easy, cheap shots in my mind. You know, if I'm successful, then the window's going to be like a Mozart symphony. You know, it'll make you feel like a Mozart symphony. It'll make you feel subtle emotions, beauty, and you know, this kind of glass is just, it's right there. Yeah.